Do you ever wonder why you keep attracting emotionally unavailable men? Why you always abandon yourself in relationships? Well, it's not because you're choosing the wrong man. It's because your nervous system is choosing for you. Because attraction, it's not conscious. Attraction is subconscious. You are led to what your subconscious feels familiar to. Let's go back into childhood. Let's go down memory lane. Let's sit with our relationship with our fathers. You may have had maybe a single parent, but today I want to focus on those of us who have fathers. But if it doesn't work and you need to implant your mother in this case, do that too. But as a woman, likely your father, whether present or not present, has had the biggest impact on who and what you attract. So let's feel into and think back to what our relationship was like with our fathers. I want you to sit with how he was with you. How present was he? Was he consistent or was he inconsistent? Was he emotionally available for you? Did he ever seek and spend time with, listening and asking about your inner world? Did he ever check in to see how you were feeling? Or when you were upset emotionally, was your father ever present to be there for you, create safety, hold you, hug you, talk to you about how you're feeling? Or was he absent? Did he work too much? Was he gone long extended periods of time? These are insights into how and what your body and subconscious has learned that the masculine means for you, that how the masculine will show up for you in childhood is how and what your nervous system expects from the masculine that you are attracted to in adulthood. The only difference is you're in an adult body now, but the brain, body, subconscious has stored and will always seek, like a computer program, to familiarize yourself over and over again. What our job is overwrite that program, just like you would in code on a computer. If we no longer want to experience an emotionally unavailable male, we have to go into the program that is speaking and writing and coming up again every time that program out into the world, that familiar father in a male that we are attracted to comes forward. Bing! Up goes into the up from the back of the computer frame to the front of the computer frame, says, oh, we know this, bing, 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 go here. So what we have to do is we have to change that program, right? But before we get into that, we have to kind of look at also why we feel secure men are boring. I'm sure you've heard that term out there. And, if we go back to thinking about maybe high school, when maybe that sweet or timid boy asked you to a dance, or maybe in your 20s and you got asked out for coffee from, maybe it was a coworker or somebody, and you just felt zero butterflies, felt zero attraction, or maybe very little, and said no thank you, or pushed him aside. Yet, you and many other girls with similar wounds to you were attracted to that charming, maybe charismatic jock, or the guy who all the girls want. Because when you're young, you can't understand why or what is running the show. And to you, maybe that secure boy is completely boring. You feel nothing. But when you're young, you can't yet, unless you have parents that are really emotionally conscious and are trying to now work with you at that young age. It typically takes time in maturity to see these patterns, to start to want to undo them. So you'll go through those processes for many years, and often we end up dating long-term partnerships or marrying the very men who remind us of those early childhood father figures, until we get tired, until we feel alone, and until we get tired of abandoning ourselves over and over again, doing the emotional labor and the emotional work to create that bridge with our partners, hoping they'll meet us there. And whether they do or not, whether they choose to grow their capacity to meet you, which that in and of itself is a question and a debate on whether that is possible. I believe it is to some extent, but it's very difficult to do. Our attachment styles are very hard to break, but there are experts out there, and I definitely say go seek them. If you want to spend time looking at your attachment, go take the test. If you haven't, go look that up. It's called attachment styles, and typically it's within a 4-pattern attachment. If you have had any dysfunction in childhood, on how you show up in relationships. It's a great test. It's a great thing to understand. There's a great book on it. Go look that up, but that's not what we're going to talk about in this video. However, with this bridge, when you try and build that bridge, or you try and look to that person to change, you're going outside of yourself, abandoning yourself over and over and over again. And to some degree, I think some of that is healthy, because you're looking to heal and you're looking for that love. But that love will never be found externally. That love has to come back to ourselves. We have to look it in within ourselves and find that, and dig deep to find that love within us. But in order to do that, we really have to learn the programs and beliefs that have overridden who we really are at a soul level, which is pure love, imperfection. We're playing the game of life. And yes, it's really difficult. It's not a game. It's just a term. But at the end of our lives, we'll see how much healing work we did for our generations. Because if you don't know, and I encourage you also to go read the book, It Doesn't Start With You. There's multiple books on this, on generational trauma and the DNA imprints that carry through the familiar line. That gives us codes, not just from what we experience in this lifetime, but previous generations and their experiences are coded in our DNA and within our RNA. And those things, this is why healing is super, super important, is because that healing doesn't just affect us. We're going to get into, let's go spiritual on this. So what I've seen spiritually is that the healing work we do actually affects our loved ones who've already crossed over. There is an energetic component to this, far bigger than just our DNA line that within our bodies. It seeks through, and I don't know exactly how, I haven't gotten deep into this, but it crosses bridges in consciousness. And so when we heal, they have a healing on the other side. We also change forward what happens in this generational line. And this is why, if you want to look at like the way, if religion, or people within probably Christianity, a lot of them talk about family curses. That's just a term you can use. I would say family generational trauma, in which is placed on families. And this is what they don't want you to know, is that when you do the work, it is so much bigger than you. And that's why they keep us trapped in fear and keep us focused on the wrong things. Drugs, sex, bad music, only money. Because as long as you're focused there and you don't focus on love and healing yourself, the matrix continues to get from you what exactly they want. So bringing it back here is that when we change within ourselves and we begin to bring our energy back, we reclaim our power, we reclaim our autonomy, we reclaim our love. Attraction will feel different. It feels like emotional safety. It feels like peace. It's the things we all talk about that we want, but we're really usually always looking or asking the other person to provide for us. When we create it in ourselves first, it will naturally come to us and be attracted to us without. And so one of the ways we can do that is by working through a method that I've developed that I know many people have some version of this, called the love method. And this method is a way to, when you feel a trigger, and this is the most important part, is anytime we have an emotional upset where our nervous system is triggered, that is the moment we do the work to start uncovering what that belief system is underneath that. And it's always a fear. It can be anything from abandonment to a loss of autonomy, so on and so forth. And so in this method, we go and uncover that fear. We re-regulate our nervous systems and mother ourselves. And we replace that old belief during the regulation and bring ourselves back to wholeness. And let me tell you why this is so transformational with every person does this work. Is because if you're not actively using your triggers and using them to project onto people, which is so typical and why we get into fights, then your computer system or subconscious is now learning this new program. And this new program is now saying, it's not outside of myself, it's within me. And every time I come back and every time I get triggered and I bring it back to myself and I bring that fear back into love, I'm in wholeness again. And then slowly but surely you begin to override. And it doesn't mean it's never going to come back up again. But when you put this into practice, it does become a familiar habit, like a program. And now your nervous system will be re-regulated, will learn how to come into safety in itself. And what will happen as a result of that is maybe that partner or marriage or those dates that you were going on that you were attracted to no longer feel attractive. And that's the goal. Because if you want safety, peace, love, emotional attunement, availability, you're going to find it in yourself first. And that's the key. Okay, so if you like this content, please join me. Please subscribe. I love this work. I'm here to liberate you, to help you stop abandoning yourself. This is the work I've done and I'm currently doing. I've done for years and in the midst of myself of a complete overhaul. And I will talk again more about that. I've done that in some previous videos. And it's the key to us, men and women, but here as a woman, because that's what I embody and understand is the divine feminine, that everything that we desire will never be found outside of ourselves. It's only going to ever be found within us. So here's your liberation. And if you're interested in the love method, I have that linked below. Use that. That is the greatest tool you'll have. You can have it the rest of your life in front of you. The love method will help you the rest of your life if you're willing to put it in practice. So, I love you. It's time to liberate yourself.